get back to Nancy Akulo here. Take us through the theme of the awards this year, and also who are the other stakeholders that are going to join.
Okay. So this year we are looking at environmental, social and governance, and we would like to promote ESG reporting.
Okay.
So the world that we live in today, there's a lot of concerns regarding the impact of human and organizational activity on the environment, and also issues to do with human rights.
Okay.
And so we thought as institute and organizations that we need to be deliberate about promoting the disclosure of information in line with the ESG. So, and when we talk about the ESG, it's not just the environment. Starting maybe with the E, the environmental aspect is about, how organizations are deliberate about controlling the impact of their activities on the environment, things that they do as an organization to limit that, and they need to include that in their annual report, in the section for sustainability. And so that's one of the things that we want to promote. The other thing is governance, things to do with the board. How is your board constituted? Is there fair representation in terms of social issues like gender? How is the board remunerated and rewarded? Is there transparency in their dealings? Yeah, so we also want to know how organizations are being governed. And then also, of course, the social aspect. And when we talk about the social, it's not just the community, but also the internal stakeholders, the employees.
Okay.
Are you following the best HR practices in terms of employee motivation, in terms of remuneration? Are employees being paid fairly? Are human rights being observed at the organization? And then, of course, when we go to the community, what is the organization doing to give back to community? Say, for instance, you find organizations giving scholarships or helping to build wells or to plant trees and things like that. So those are the aspects that we want to look at this year. And therefore, that gives rise to a holistic report that does not only provide financial information, but looks into these other key aspects as well.
Okay. Yeah. Now, speaking of the stakeholders who are also going to be part of the awards this year.
Yeah. In terms of organizers.
Yeah, organizers.
Yeah. Okay. So we organize the awards in partnership with 3 organizations. One of them is the Capital Markets Authority. Okay. The other is the Uganda Securities Exchange, and then we have Vision Group. Okay. So the reason why we brought USE and CMA on board is because of what we talked about earlier. Okay. One of the ways through which organizations can raise funds is through the capital markets. So we needed to bring on board the regulator and the players in that sector in order for us to have more collaborative effort in promoting financial reporting in that regard.
All right. And if you're to look at the business people out there who are at home watching, or anyone who is in their workplace, what is the best way you would tip these particular individuals on, for example, financial reporting? What are the basics they need to know, and what should be the first things they do before they even quickly seek for an expert from the CPA?
For the CPA, yeah. So first things first, keep all your source documents. And when you talk about source documents, we talk about receipts, invoices. Have a paper trail of all your transactions, from the smallest of, of 5,000 or 10,000. Just have a paper trail of all of that, because then when the accountant comes in, these are the documents that he's going to base on to help you prepare your books of accounts. So keep the source documents and record as much as possible. There are simple books that individuals can prepare. Just a simple book that records your expenses and your incomes, that can help for a start. But very importantly, please get a certified public accountant to help you prepare the actual financial statements.
Okay. And then your final remarks as we're winding up with our discussion today, ahead of what people should expect, and then also looking at the financial status of the economy.
Okay. So my final remarks to the general public is really to embrace good financial reporting. And the benefits, we've talked about the benefits already, they are immense. And the only way that we can achieve this as a country is if each organization participates, plays their fair share, plays their part. So let's embrace good financial reporting, get a certified public accountant to help you prepare your books of accounts, and then of course, after you've done that, submit your annual report so that the experts can then now tell you if you're doing the right thing. The Fire Awards will be held in November. 9th November at the Kampala Serena Hotel. So we'll also encourage the participating organizations to participate and to look forward to that event as well.
Okay. And when she mentions Fire Awards, don't get misguided in there, not the fire that you're used to. It's the Financial Reporting Awards. Someone may easily think of the Fire Baby concert that just ended recently. But it's the Fire Awards, that is the Financial Reporting Awards 2022 that will be slated 9th November this very year. Looking and targeting people who are actually engaging in the financial and business reporting in Uganda, and it will as well encourage implementation of the best practices in the industry. And this has been our topic of discussion. I was with Nancy Akulo, who is the head of Communications Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, that is CPA, taking us through financial reporting. And that is it for our topic of discussion. And now with the SMB Insight this morning, we take a look at the revival of Uganda's railway line, Uganda's railway transport sector. As the revival of that in Kenya with the standard gauge railway boosted transport of both goods, commodities, as well as individuals, the passengers who go by train. Now with ours, as we are also aiming at reviving with the standard gauge railway away from the meter gauge to the standard gauge railway, we hope that this one will help boost our transportation sector and also limit the high cost of transportation in the country, because when you look at railway transport, it is way cheaper. And our SMB Insight looks at the revival of the Uganda railway sector. Let's have a look.
The challenges I face while using the train, one of them is that, you know how we've said the economy, everything is very high, the tax prices are very high, the border charges are so high, everything, every other mean of transport is high. Some of us who have our own cars, even as we've stopped treating the facility, we failed to make it to buy the fuel to put in our cars, so we have to resort to the train. That is why I'm saying the challenge is that we are very many now who have turned to the train. The train is getting so much packed up, and because people are leaving the other side because of the high prices, getting to the train. Now the challenge is that we are now very, very many in the train. Meaning the train, the managers and the people dealing in the train section, the administrators, should help us to maybe expand because the train can really be so much packed. I don't know how I can strain that or stress that, but the train can be so packed. So if the managers and the administrators could help us and add on more coaches, it would be a really good thing. Or maybe bring up a new train, it would also be very good. You get to find that the pregnant mothers, the lame people, the sick people, those are the challenges they find. The train can be packed up, others do not want to give them the seats, and the lame find it so hard to also get to that crowded place because they will end up being affected, falling, all that.
We have a Spanish construction team. They're called the consultants. You see, Spain has one of the best rail networks. So we have the consultants, and first they are doing capacity building for the team. Then they are going to construct the line from Kampala to Mukono.
As you can see, we are constructing the meter gauge railway from Malaba to Mukono, which the total length is around 237 kilometers. As of today, we have completed around 64% of the total construction works. And our construction period is supposed to be 10 months. We are now in time. We are actually a bit slightly advanced of the progress. As I was committed during the launching ceremony in Mukono ICD, which was February, I committed our CRBC would deliver the project by November, which now since all the consignment of the railway material had arrived, and we are catching up with the progress. So we have confidence to commit again that we should deliver this project on November to government of Uganda and the great people of Uganda. So it will benefit the region. As we can see, as just the minister mentioned, it is supposed to carry at least 60,000 tons.
We are maybe sometimes means of transport going to work like far end there, and also we have challenges like rain. Now we are working under rain, and you cannot leave this train while you have opened it. So that is another challenge. We are working under rain.
Challenges we have been facing here. I want to begin since when I've been working with the companies. I never got a company that doesn't give food for people to eat. To be sincere, my dear, we are working throughout the day minus eating. You eat at evening hours on your own, and they pay us some 20 days, whereby at times there are a lot of things about people expecting things from you. You personally, you expect something from yourself, whereby those are the challenges we are facing. And rentals, if it comes to transport, as our supervisor said, as we speak this evening, we are going to work from this is Namaiba, we are going to walk up to Seta. Nazigo, it's far away. We have to leave here at 5:30, and from there we walk. And they are not all at very good security on the way. There are some of the places whereby they have not built any house. You just walk like 5 kilometers. You don't find anything like a house.
Those, you see this, replacing the rails, replacing the sleepers, and rehabilitating the bridges and culverts.
As a history of bad agreements with the Belt and Road Initiative companies across Africa and emerging economies freshly lives, it's interesting how this development shall shape in the future as efforts of middle income status persists.
All right, now there you have it with the Uganda railway transport sector. as we definitely try to revive it back, you know, Kenya's standard gauge railway under the former President Uhuru Kenyatta did kick off already, and it's already being implemented and also helping out in terms of transportation of goods as well as commodities, and also easing transport for the people in Kenya. Now Tanzania also took on the journey to the standard gauge railway, so it is something that you could definitely see why Uganda is also picking it up from there, and we highly anticipate that the revival of the Uganda railway sector will definitely be very helpful. When I mention revival, it doesn't mean that it's not functioning now, because it is already functioning. People are using it as well, and then we also have those who actually transport goods and commodities with it. So it is basically reviving it in a more sounding manner, in that many Ugandans switch to it as well in regards to those who use public transport, because pretty much a situation where we're in right now is when you realize people have various means of transport that they use. There is use of public vehicles, for example, buses, coasters, look at taxis, look at, let's say, private vehicles or privately owned vehicles, and also borders and all that. Then others use the planes. The boats are also viable, that is over the water bodies. But now, if railway transport also gets back reunited, it will be better as well for the entire transportation sector in Uganda. And that is it for the SMB Insight. And then after the break, we will be returning with the last half of your morning Kickstarter. Stick around, I'll be right back.